The next day, Li Qingyue came down from upstairs and opened the door of the office, but then a woman wearing sunglasses walked in. "Sir, how can I help you?" Although Li Qingyue was still a little sleepy, he still forced a smile and asked, "Can you really accomplish anything here?" "Of course." "Close the door first," said the woman arrogantly. But Li Qingyue was not angry at all. Instead, he ran to close the door happily. After all, he knew that people like this were all rich people. "I want you to help me get a person's seed." The woman took off her sunglasses and turned out to be one of the most famous amphibious actresses in modern times. Not only did she win the Golden Man for Best Actress in the film industry, she was also a world-class singer. It was rumored that the actress's net worth had reached $1 billion. "So it's you, the big star. I wonder whose seed you want to get?" Li Qingyue asked in confusion. "The seed of the current head of the Morgan family." "Do you know what you're doing?" "I know, you just need to tell me if you can do it." The woman asked arrogantly. "Of course, no problem. But you also know that he is the controller of the Morgan family, and the security around him is world-class. How much compensation do you plan to give to such a person?" 100 million. "It's too little. The effort and reward are completely disproportionate. Mr. Customer, if you are still so insincere, then I think we don't need to discuss this commission anymore. 500 million, this is the limit of what I can afford. If you don't agree, I'll find someone else." "No problem, please sign your name." The same process, after confirming that the name was lit up, Li Qingyue asked him to come back in a week to pick up the seeds, and then the woman left. "Interesting, but Walter is busy improving the pills recently, and I don't have any other employees who can help. System, do you have any ideas?" Li Qingyue thought to himself. "I'm sorry, host. Your authority is too low to activate the employee recruitment module. Please upgrade your firm's level as soon as possible to obtain higher authority." Originally, Li Qingyue just wanted to ask casually and didn't expect the system to give a reply. After all, his system didn't seem to be very intelligent. But now the system actually gave a reply, so he guessed that the higher the level of his firm, the smarter it would be. Of course, this remains to be verified. Li Qingyue had no choice but to go for a walk around Hell's Kitchen to see if he could find an employee suitable for the job. The result was obvious. After walking around for a while, he found nothing else amazing except some ugly ones, so he could only complete this commission alone. To complete this commission, it is neither easy nor difficult. You just need to find out the itinerary of the head of the Morgan family, then kidnap him and force him to hand over the seeds. So Li Qingyue's first thing was to investigate the itinerary of the head of the Morgan family. This was not a difficult task for Li Qingyue. He only needed to spend some money to get it. Soon, an itinerary map appeared at the door of his office. After bringing it in, Li Qingyue looked at the route above and began to think about where to act. However, the route of the Morgan family master was very tricky. Not only was it close to various police stations, but it was also accompanied by a large number of security guards. As long as it was attacked, the police station could dispatch police within just 3 minutes. Unless Li Qingyue can kidnap the head of the Morgan family without alerting any security, he will only have the possibility of breaking in by force. After thinking of many ways, Li Qingyue finally decided to start directly from Morgan Manor. After all, if he started from other places, it would cause a lot of noise. After making the decision, Li Qingyue stayed in the office and set off immediately after nightfall. Dividing line. As night fell, Li Qingyue had not received any other commissions except this one, which made him wonder if his firm was not famous enough. However, now was not the time to think about these things. The most important thing now was to get to Morgan Manor. The Morgan family has estates in every state, and even has properties all over the world, so that they can have a safe place to live anywhere, so they also have estates in New York City. Li Qingyue rode his old motorcycle to a distance of half a kilometer from the manor. It was not that Li Qingyue did not want to get closer, but the security measures here were too strict. There is even a satellite overhead that observes the Morgan family's surroundings around the clock to help him eliminate some dangers. Li Qingyue took out a special piece of clothing from the storage compartment. This kind of clothing can be fully wrapped, can lower the body temperature, and blend into the environment. The most important thing is that it can absorb light. It is a product completely made for infiltration. So this dress was not cheap either. It cost him a full $5 million. After putting on the clothes, Li Qingyue slowly lowered his breathing frequency. Then he used his powerful five senses to determine the positions of the sentries and the hidden sentries, and began his stealth. He quickly broke through human security. Next, he had to face various cameras, infrared detectors, and so on. Finally, Li Qingyue finally sneaked into the castle in the manor after going through untold hardships. As soon as he came in, he quickly put the high-tech clothes into the storage compartment. A sweaty Li Qingyue appeared in front of them. After all, there was no airtightness in here, and there was only a small gap at the mouth for air to pass through. Originally, this set of clothes was to be worn with a set of inner armor, but Li Qingyue thought the inner armor was too expensive, so he didn't buy it. Who knew it would be so stuffy? Li Qingyue wiped the sweat from his face and was about to enter the castle when a sudden sound made him stop abruptly. He jumped lightly to the top and supported himself with his legs against the wall until the maids left, and then he landed back on the ground. The next thing he had to do was to find the location of the head of the Morgan family, but this castle had hundreds of rooms. In order to find the location of the head of the Morgan family, he could only capture one person and ask him. Thinking of this, Li Qingyue went straight upstairs. After turning around several times, he finally came to a room. Listening to the music inside and making sure that there was someone inside, Li Qingyue looked around and gently turned the doorknob, only to find that the door was locked. But this did not pose a problem for Li Qingyue. With his own lock-picking skills, he quickly opened the door. After all, as an office boss, lock-picking is a must-learn skill. As Li Qingyue opened the door, the scene that came into his eyes made him stunned. Li Qingyue pushed open the door and found that the house was not as small as he had imagined. There was a party going on inside with a group of handsome men and beautiful women partying inside. The sudden appearance of Li Qingyue made everyone present stop. This is such a big surprise. Hello everyone, you won't like what's coming next, but I hope you won't scream. Now, men and women, stand straight. Why should I listen to you? And why have I never seen you before? Who are you? A girl stood up and asked. Just because of this. Li Qingyue smiled and took out Roland's pistol from his waist. Looking at the black muzzle of the gun, everyone shut their mouths. At this time, Li Qingyue looked at the fat man who was DJing. The fat man turned off the music obediently, and then split into two sides as Li Qingyue said. Thank you for your cooperation. Now stand in 2 rows with your backs to me. Sir, everyone here is very rich. Please don't hurt us. You can give us as much money as you want. A boy who was about 16 or 17 years old stood up and said calmly, Don't worry, I won't hurt you. Now you just need to listen to me and don't think about doing anything rash. Turn around and close your eyes. They had no choice but to do as he asked. Then Li Qingyue tore off the curtains, turned them into pieces of cloth, and tied their hands behind their backs. When the girls were being tied up, they were shaking with fear, as if they were afraid that Li Qingyue would do something to them. Only after everyone was tied up did Li Qingyue speak. Will the Morgan here please step forward 2 steps? But no one moved, but they were still children, and their eyes looked at a girl almost at the same time. Seeing this, Li Qingyue walked over and grabbed the girl out. May I have your name? Alina Morgan. The girl said in a low voice with her head down. Alina, that's a nice name. Now I have a question for you. You can choose not to answer, but I'm not sure what will happen, so you have to think clearly about where the head of the Morgan family is. Everyone was stunned when they heard this question. They never imagined that someone would be so cruel as to run to the Morgan family's territory to assassinate the head of the Morgan family. I won't tell you. When the girl heard this question, she raised her head and said with a stubborn look, Oh my, you guys are making me feel troubled. Does anyone know? Li Qingyue asked, slowly pointing the gun at them. But still no one spoke, even though they were really scared. This made Li Qingyue really helpless, but he had no choice. After all, he was not a person who killed indiscriminately. He was just trying to scare them before. Walter, are you asleep? Boss, do you think I fell asleep? Walter's unpleasant voice came from the other end of the phone. Okay, do me a favor and check where Master Morgan's room is. No problem, but I need to access their independent network. A voice came from Watt's other end. Then Li Qingyue took out a data cable and connected his mobile phone to the computer socket here. The next second, the computer screen turned blue, and then countless data began to upload. After a while, What's voice was heard. The position has been sent to you, boss. Anything else? No, are you done with your experiment? It's almost there. We've already made some progress. The improvements will be completed in a week at most. Are there any left? Yes, there is enough for me. Li Qingyue then hung up the phone, looked at the location on his phone, then looked at the group of children and smiled slightly. This scared the children so much that they huddled together for warmth. Then Li Qingyue walked towards them. They wanted to escape, but they fell to the ground without paying attention. Seeing Li Qingyue approaching a girl, the girl was so scared that she closed her eyes, waiting for death to come. But after a long time, the pain did not come. She opened her eyes and found that Li Qingyue only had a towel in his hand. I don't like killing people, so don't worry. After saying that, he stuffed the towels into their mouths and divided them into men and women and piled them in 2 corners. Okay, everyone just stay here. After I complete the task, I will send your people to rescue you. After saying that, Li Qingyue left. According to the address provided by Walter, he finally found the location of the head of the Morgan family. Pushing the door open, he found a middle-aged man sitting on the sofa reading a book. Li Qingyue's appearance only made the middle-aged man frown slightly. Who sent you? Asked the middle-aged man. I'm sorry, the guest's privacy is not allowed to be disclosed. Li Qingyue said with a smile. The middle-aged man didn't say anything, but suddenly pulled out his hand, but the next second a gunshot rang out and the bullet hit the pistol in the man's hand. Hello, patriarch of the Morgan family, please don't play tricks. I never thought that someone could sneak into the manor so quietly. Can I ask you if you have hurt anyone else? The middle-aged man asked while rubbing his sore wrist. Of course not. My commission is not to kill anyone. Not to kill anyone? Then what are you here for? The middle-aged man asked in obvious surprise. Take your seed. The middle-aged man was also confused after hearing this. He had thought of many possibilities, but this was the only one he had never thought of. My seed. That's right, please cooperate, otherwise those children's lives will be in danger. I'll give you whatever you want. Hearing the group of children, the man could no longer sit still. Li Qingyue smiled slightly, threw out a can of blue pills and said, I think your wife should be here too. Also, do you want to take this medicine yourself or should I feed it to you? The man took the can and forced himself to eat 1 pill, then called his wife over. When his wife appeared in the room, Li Qingyue also left the room. However, before leaving completely, he said, remember the safety of those children. Get this over with as soon as possible, and don't try to play any tricks. I can come here once, and I can come a second time. After saying that, Li Qingyue closed the door. After a while, Li Qingyue heard the lewd sounds coming from the room. An hour later, the man opened the door with a jar in his hand. The jar contained the seeds that Li Qingyue needed, but Li Qingyue did not take it. Instead, he opened a bag and motioned the man to throw it in. After doing this, Li Qingyue left the manor. The man had thought about sending people to chase him, but Li Qingyue seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth and his whereabouts could not be found at all. In the end, he could only comfort the group of children first, and then he found Li Qingyue's whereabouts with the help of Li Qingyue's portrait. When he learned that Li Qingyue was the owner of a firm, he was still a little shocked. But he is the head of the Morgan family after all. Li Qingyue could only appear in front of him for no apparent reason, which made him very angry. For this reason, he punished the security department and upgraded the equipment again. He also re-equipped himself and came to the door of Marvel office. Boss, there are a lot of luxury cars outside the door. What's going on? Walter walked in from outside, went straight to the table to take his lunchbox, sat next to Tom and asked while eating. I think it should be someone from the Morgan family. After all, I invaded their manor last night. Maybe this time they are here to settle the score with us. Do I need to take action? I haven't tried the effect of the killing crow yet. When Walter heard this, his eyes lit up. Okay, stop making trouble and finish your experiment quickly. And you two eat it or not. If not, I will throw it away. Li Qingyue shouted at Tom and Jerry who were fighting on the side. When the 2 children heard this, they immediately returned to Walter's side and ate the food on their plates obediently. Tom had a roast chicken and milk, while Jerry had cheese, milk, and a sandwich. It can be said that what they ate was better than that of ordinary people. At this time, the door was pushed open, and the middle-aged man and the girl from last night walked in. As soon as they came in, they saw Li Qingyue who was eating. Hello, 2 guests, are you looking to place a commission? That's right. Oh, what kind of commission do you want to issue? Li Qingyue asked with a smile. Any commission is acceptable? Of course. What if I asked you to commit suicide? That's no problem, but I don't know what kind of reward you can offer. After hearing what Li Qingyue said, the man was stunned. He never thought that he could actually issue such a commission. So how much do you think is appropriate? Well, after all, I'm a human being. If that's the case, then $1 million is fine. It's not too much, right? Good. Okay, let's sign the contract. Li Qingyue took out the parchment scroll, and then the classic process began. After everything was ready, Li Qingyue looked at the girl. My dear guest, are you sure this little girl is also going to watch me commit suicide here? Elena, go wait outside. The man said. The girl nodded, then left the office looking back every few steps. After seeing the girl leave, Li Qingyue immediately took out his gun, and the next second countless red dots appeared on Li Qingyue's body. Ha, don't get excited. I'm going to commit suicide. How can a gun be faster than a knife? After saying that, he aimed at his own head and shot himself. As Li Qingyue fell to the ground, the man was stunned. He didn't expect that Li Qingyue was serious. Just as the man was about to turn around and leave, Li Qingyue suddenly sat up and shouted, Tom, come and clean up. This guest, please pay your fee. Looking at the resurrected Li Qingyue, the man suppressed his excitement and transferred the money. Then Li Qingyue handed him a business card and said, Dear customer, if there is business like this in the future, please remember to contact me. The man snorted coldly, turned and left, and when the girl saw that Li Qingyue was fine, she actually breathed a sigh of relief and followed the man away. Little did they know that this scene was seen clearly by the surveillance agents. After learning that Li Qingyue could be resurrected, they reported this information one after another. After receiving this news, Director Nick Fury decided to meet Li Qingyue in person. After all, even he had only seen this person who could come back to life once, so he had to assess the danger level of this guy in person. Not only him, but Hydra hidden in the National Strategic Defense Supply and Logistics Bureau also received the news first and immediately sent a special team to capture Li Qingyue in order to obtain his ability to resurrect from the dead. So now a lot of people are eyeing Li Qingyue, but Li Qingyue is not aware of it at this time because he is now planning to open the box. Boss, what's in these 2 gift boxes? I don't know. This is a reward for me. You can get points by completing the commission, and I can get an unknown reward by completing the reward. Then who provides these rewards? Walter asked, while his brain was calculating quickly, calculating who provided the rewards, but unfortunately, the information he knew was not enough for him to get the answer. Now he only had 3 answers in his mind. One was a powerful country, the second was alien civilization, and the last one was God. You just need to know that everything here is provided by that existence. His existence is very surprising. Li Qingyue did not say it clearly, but opened the 2 gift boxes on his own, and 2 balls of light fell out from them. Walter looked at the 2 balls of light curiously, but what he never expected was that Li Qingyue picked up one of the balls of light and stuffed it into Walter's body. Suddenly, a lot of memories appeared in Walter's mind. These memories were the memories of a Special Forces soldier from training to fighting on the battlefield. This ball of light is the memory of a soldier with rich combat experience. After you merge it with him, you will gain his combat experience. However, your physical fitness is not up to par yet. You should exercise more when you have time. Thank you, boss. Walter opened his eyes, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Okay, continue with your experiment. What nodded, then stood up and left. Then Li Qingyue looked at another ball of light, which was a bloodline. Demon bloodline. This bloodline comes from the world of Devil May Cry. It can be evolved through killing. The highest level of evolution is the bloodline of the demon swordsman, also known as the Spartan bloodline. Li Qingyue was thinking about whether fusion was necessary. After all, no one knew what changes would happen after the fusion. In the end, he decided to ask the system. System, after I merged with this demonic bloodline, will my body experience any abnormalities? Host, no, if the bloodline is not strong enough, there will be no abnormality in the fusion of the human body. The system gave an explanation, and Li Qingyue fused the demon bloodline. After the fusion, Li Qingyue found that his physical fitness had been greatly improved, his strength had increased by about 1 ton, and his speed had also increased a lot. The most terrifying thing was that his body had become immune to attacks from sharp weapons. Li Qingyue had never expected such a change. At the same time, he was increasingly looking forward to the improvement of the demon bloodline. The current demon bloodline was only the lowest level of demon, probably the kind of existence that Empusa had, those fly-head-like cannon fodder demons in Devil May Cry 5. I just don't know how many people I have to kill before I can evolve to the next level. Li Qingyue said in a low voice. The boss of the firm, more than a dozen jeeps appeared. Li Qingyue sensed something and kicked the table away. The table flew out and hit the people entering the door heavily, and the powerful force blew them away. Take Richard upstairs, Li Qingyue said calmly. After hearing this, Tom grabbed Richard by the back of his collar and ran up quickly, and Jerry came to Li Qingyue's shoulders. Twitter. No, just leave them to me. You go up and protect Richard. Jerry nodded and left. On the other side, Walter stuck his head out after hearing the noise and happened to look at Li Qingyue. Li Qingyue shook his head at him, and Walter closed the window again to complete his experiment. Li Qingyue then took out his 2 guns and started his massacre. Without waiting for the people outside to come in, Li Qingyue had already opened fire, and the bullets went through the glass and hit the people outside. The people outside also reacted quickly and fired directly at Li Qingyue's position. Soon there was no sound in the office. They thought they had killed Li Qingyue. The gunshots rang out again. No matter where they hid, the bullets always hit them. Soon, no one outside was left lying on the ground. Fortunately, my office can repair itself, otherwise the renovation costs would be a huge expense. Li Qingyue walked out the door and looked at the corpses on the ground. When he was worrying about what to do, a figure walked over. Sir, do you need a street sweeper service? $5,000 for 1 body. The man said with a smile. Okay, I'll leave it to you. Remember to pick up the shell casings as well. Okay, sir, someone will come to collect the fee after the cleanup. Li Qingyue nodded, then turned back to the office and began to sweep the shell casings out with a broom. Boss, who sent those people? Have no idea. Then why don't you check their bodies? Maybe you can get some information about the people who sent them here. No, Walter, you have to remember that as a member of the firm, we will attract many assassinations. We can't possibly clean up all the organizations, people, and countries that have committed these crimes, so just let them do whatever they want. They can't kill me anyway. The more people they send, the more people will die. Anyway, we don't suffer any losses here, so let's see who suffers more. Boss, you are right. I will continue to complete my experiment. After saying that, Walter left. Li Qingyue lay down on the sofa again. Tom and Jerry also came down with Richard. Brother Ed, is everything settled? Everything is taken care of. Come out and continue playing. But Richard didn't go over, but stared at Li Qingyue. The look in his eyes made Li Qingyue feel embarrassed. Why are you staring at me like that? Li Qingyue asked in confusion. Brother Ed, can you teach me how to use a gun? Richard asked cautiously. Why don't you just look for your father? You don't know your father's true identity yet, do you? I know, but none of them are as strong as you, Uncle Ed. Only Uncle Bullseye's strength is similar to yours, but he said that it is because of his talent that made him so strong today. Others can't learn it. Richard said with a pout. Looking at Richard, who was only 11 years old, Li Qingyue couldn't help but sigh. Then Brother Ed, if you find it difficult, I can issue a commission. Of course, but I think you still need to have a good talk with your father. Richard didn't reply, but looked directly at Li Qingyue. Li Qingyue sighed, took out the parchment scroll and said, the reward is $100,000. You should be able to afford it. Yeah, my pocket money is still enough to pay for this. Just as Richard was about to sign his name, Li Qingyue spoke again. Richard, you have to think carefully. Once you sign your name, there's no turning back. Are you sure you want to learn how to use a gun? Richard nodded heavily, then signed his name and pressed his fingerprint. As his name glowed, the contract was completed. Come with me. I need someone to make you a custom gun. As he spoke, Li Qingyue drove his old motorcycle and took Richard to old Jack's grocery store. As soon as they opened the door, they saw a group of strong men gathered inside. Make way, old Jack, it's time to expand your store. Li Qingyue took Richard and squeezed through the crowd. At first, the strong man who was pushed away wanted to grab Li Qingyue's collar with an unhappy look on his face, but when he saw Li Qingyue's appearance, he immediately squeezed to both sides and made way. How come you have time to come here? I need your help with something, so here you are. By the way, what do these people do? I bought some arms and am waiting for delivery here. Can't you just go out and wait? Li Qingyue said with a frown. What they want can't be too ostentatious, so it's better to wait inside, said old Jack. Whatever you want. At this time, Tank came out, carrying 4 long boxes in his hands. Looking at the symbols on the boxes, Li Qingyue asked in surprise, Stinger air defense missiles, can you get this thing? You know my name, right? There is nothing I can't get. As long as you have money, I can even get you a nuclear bomb. Old Jack said disdainfully. Tank placed the box on the counter, and the group of strong men quickly took the box and left. Okay, what do you want from me? Customize a pistol for this child. By the way, Richard, what type of pistol do you like? Well, the M629 revolver. I think it looks cool when the cylinder is swung out and the shells are poured out. Li Qingyue nodded in agreement, then said to Old Jack, customize him an M629 revolver that fits his hand size, and give me 10,000 rounds of bullets suitable for this type of gun. Sure thing, Tank. Measure his hand, Old Jack called out. Kid, come with me, Tank said to Richard. Looking at Tank's height, Richard looked at Li Qingyue. Go ahead. Don't be fooled by Tank's height. He is actually very kind to children. Li Qingyue said with a smile, and Richard then walked towards Tank. Richard followed Tank to a workshop-like place where many gun handles, barrels, and various parts were stored. Tank placed a large number of gun handles in front of Richard and said, Son, pick the gun handle that you think is most comfortable to hold. Richard nodded, and then started to choose. He finished his selection soon. Then the Tank began to balance the weight. After getting the weight that Richard was most comfortable with, Richard was allowed to leave and told to come and pick up the goods tomorrow. Richard and Li Qingyue then left the grocery store. Old Jack looked at their backs and said calmly, Do you know whose child that is? Whose? Tank asked. King Bing's child. He originally hoped to keep him away from these things, but he didn't expect the Stone of Destiny to play such a trick on him. Old Jack sighed and continued his work. On the other side, a man with a slightly bald head, wearing a black suit and driving a red antique car appeared at the door of the office. Marvel Studios. Hello, is the boss here? A slightly bald man walked in and asked politely. I am the boss. Is there anything we can do for this customer? Li Qingyue stood up and asked, but he already knew the man's identity by looking at his appearance. Hello, I'm Agent Coulson from the FBI. I'm here to ask you some questions about the gunfight that happened earlier. The man took out his ID and said, I get it, Agent Phil Coulson. I'm aware of your presence. So, stop using the FBI as a cover. I'll be frank with you. I don't know who these people are, and I'm not interested in finding out. You should have my information, so you should know that I've offended quite a few people over the years. I'm sure that group was sent by one of them. You know my identity? Phil Coulson asked in surprise. Of course I know. Don't forget, my firm originally made a living by selling intelligence. Oh, and I have another piece of information that you should be very interested in. What information? Captain America is still alive. Li Qingyue said softly. Coulson was shocked when he heard the news, and even Director Fury, who was monitoring remotely, was shocked. Do you know what you are talking about? Coulson said with a somewhat ugly expression. How about it? Want more detailed information? $1 million. If you can't make the decision, you can let the guy who eavesdropped make the decision. Coulson didn't say anything for a long time before he said, Okay, I agree to your request. Tell me his location. No rush, let's go through the process. Li Qingyue took out a parchment scroll. Coulson hesitated for a moment before signing his name and stamping it. However, what no one expected was that the name did not glow. What's going on? Coulson asked in confusion. Because you deceived it. Sign your real name. It seems that you are not Phil Coulson. Li Qingyue seemed to have guessed something and looked at the imposter in front of him. Interesting. The counterfeit smiled, then wiped his hand across his face, and suddenly a very high-tech human skin mask was taken off. It was covered with densely packed mirrors, and it seemed that the appearance was transformed through these mirrors. Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, hello, do you still need this information? As Natasha changed her name, it began to glow. Then Li Qingyue told the address where Captain America was frozen, and Fury immediately sent Agent Coulson to lead the team there. Natasha also transferred $1 million to Li Qingyue. Just as she was about to leave, Li Qingyue stopped her and said, I have some information about you here. Do you want to buy it? What information? Natasha asked curiously. Li Qingyue didn't speak it out loud, but instead mouthed a word. When Natasha saw the word, her pupils suddenly contracted, but quickly returned to normal. She said coldly, not interested. Then she turned and left, but Li Qingyue knew that she was still very interested. With such a potential guest, Li Qingyue happily sat back in his seat and opened the gift box. It turned out that the reward this time was a stack of Zimbabwean dollars. He was too lazy to even look at it and threw it into the trash can. "Brother Ed, my gun is done. Can you teach me now?" Richard ran in holding a box and shouted, "Sure. Is it right here? Don't we have to go to the shooting range?" Richard asked Li Qingyue, who was motionless. "Why go to the shooting range? You don't think your first lesson is to learn how to shoot, do you? Forget it. Do you know the difference between a revolver and other pistols?" "What's the difference?" "It has a small capacity and is difficult to reload. Even with a dedicated revolver magazine, it's still not as easy to carry as other pistol magazines. So your first lesson is to learn how to reload. You must be able to do so calmly in any situation. Even with your eyes closed, in pitch darkness, you can reload in a very short time. Brother Ed, can you show me exactly what needs to be done?" "Of course, no problem." Li Qingyue took out his gun and put it on the table. Richard looked at the gun in front of him and hurried forward to check it out. Looking at the silver-white gun body, the ivory handle, and the strange patterns on the gun body, Richard became fascinated as he looked at it, and even reached out to gently stroke the gun body. "Brother Ed, what material is your gun made of?" "King Arthur's Excalibur. There are only 2 of its kind in the world. And this gun of mine is a Remington 1875 modified. It not only has the original fixed-point loading method, but also a swing-out loading method. This way, I can carry both honeycomb magazines and individual bullets. Now, let me demonstrate the fixed-point loading method." Then Richard saw Li Qingyue put out the magazine, then pour the bullets into his hand, and then shook the gun lightly, and the magazine returned to the gun body. Then Li Qingyue demonstrated his loading method. He looked straight ahead, his fingers constantly moving the bullets into the magazine. The bullets were loaded into the magazine one by one, and it was loaded in just 1 second. "I see, but there's only one way to reload your gun, so you can try it yourself. I don't have much to teach you at the beginning. I can only say that practice makes perfect, understand? Of course, there are other ways to reload, let me show you too." Li Qingyue then began a series of reloading. His fancy way of doing it made Richard's eyes sparkle. For the specific reloading method, please find the video of the protagonist of the Dark Tower reloading to imagine it yourself. Can I do this? Of course, practice makes perfect. With more practice, you can achieve this level. Now, start by practicing reloading with your eyes open. Once you are proficient, try reloading without looking. Richard nodded, then sat on the sofa, took his custom-made revolver in his hand and began to load it. However, even though the bullet was shrunk, Richard was still very clumsy at loading it. Soon he filled a magazine, poured out the bullets, and Richard continued to reload. Li Qingyue looked at his serious expression and nodded in approval. Suddenly Vanessa walked in. Seeing Richard so serious, she didn't disturb him. Instead, she came to Li Qingyue and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong with Richard?" "Oh, he asked me to teach him how to shoot." Vanessa nodded thoughtfully, not knowing what she was thinking about. After saying goodbye to Li Qingyue, she left in a hurry. Li Qingyue looked at her impetuous look and couldn't help scratching his head. On an ice sheet in the Arctic Ocean, a group of people wearing heavy clothes were digging for something when suddenly someone shouted, "We've found it." After hearing this, a man hurried over and pushed away the snow on the ice, revealing the man hidden in the ice and the shield in his hand. "Finally found it, hurry up and dig the captain out, and be careful." "Yes, Agent Coulson." "That's right, the people here are the team led by Coulson, who are here specifically to find Captain America's whereabouts. According to the instruments, Captain America still has signs of life. All they need to do next is raise his body temperature, replenish his nutrition, and then wake him up, and they will be able to get Captain America back." Just after Coulson reported the intelligence here to Fury, he suddenly saw several armed helicopters appear in the sky. Coulson felt that they were not friendly and shouted loudly, "Enemy attack, everyone prepare to fight back." "Phil, what's going on?" Fury asked hurriedly when he heard Coulson's shout. "I don't know, Chief. Several armed helicopters appeared above us. We tried to contact them, but they didn't respond. You can attack directly if necessary." Fury said with a dark face. "Yes, Chief." Then Fury began to use the resources at hand to find the identity of these armed helicopters, but unfortunately he did not find any information about the source of these helicopters, as if they appeared out of thin air. While Fury was still looking for information about these armed helicopters, Coulson's side had already started fighting. "What? It hasn't been dug out yet?" Coulson roared. "Sir, we still need a little more time. We can't let them destroy the equipment, otherwise the captain's body won't be properly protected." Are there any individual air defense missiles? Coulson asked loudly. Yes, sir, in the car, an agent shouted. At this time, Coulson also noticed the car that the agent mentioned, but now they couldn't get out at all. Several heavy machine guns were firing at them crazily. It wouldn't be long before even the bunker would be destroyed, so Coulson's brain was working frantically, and finally he found a way. He took out a grenade and threw it towards a place with more snow. As the grenade exploded, a large amount of snow was blown up, completely covering their position and blocking the helicopter pilot's vision. Coulson took this opportunity to take a detour to the vehicle where the individual air defense missiles were stored, picked them up and set them up with the help of the car door. When the snowflakes fell to the ground, Coulson pulled the trigger with a serious expression, and the missile shot towards one of the armed helicopters. The targeted helicopter sounded an alarm and the pilot wanted to escape, but this individual air defense missile was the latest product of SHIELD. This missile had a secondary acceleration function. When the armed helicopter evaded, the missile accelerated twice and directly hit it. The helicopter was hit and immediately lost control and fell. While out of control, the rotor accidentally hit another helicopter, causing that helicopter to lose balance as well. Coulson and his men took advantage of this to fight back, shooting madly at the fuel tank and the cab. Finally, with a large amount of bullets pouring down, they shot down these helicopters. Coulson's hands dropped naturally, his tense nerves finally relaxed, but now was not the time to rest. Coulson began to arrange the remaining people to build a defense line to prevent a second wave of attacks, and then send people to check the bodies of the attackers to see if they could find some information. The last and most important thing was to speed up the digging out of Captain America and leave here as soon as possible. Fortunately, they did not encounter any attack next. They returned to New York with Captain America and the others instead of returning to Washington, because Coulson felt that something was wrong inside SHIELD. Not only him, but Fury also felt something was wrong a long time ago. But this group of people are hiding very deeply, and the most important thing is that Fury doesn't know which people are trustworthy and which are not. For this reason, he can only temporarily place Captain America in New York, and he also left Washington and went to New York, intending to make arrangements here. Dividing line. At the Marvel Studios, Walter ran in and shouted to Lee Chinue, "Boss, I succeeded in my research." After hearing this, Lee Chinue immediately looked at Walter, looked at the transparent pill in his hand and asked, "Did you succeed?" "That's right, boss. It's been successful. The dependence has been eliminated. And if you take it for a long time, you may even gain the ability to predict the future." To predict the future? It's not really predicting the future, it's just that you can infer what will happen in the next few seconds by obtaining information about the surroundings. This ability may not mean much to ordinary people, but for us, it's enough to save some dangerous situations. Do you want to try it? Lee Chinue nodded, then took out one and ate it. Immediately, he felt a cool feeling rushing into his head. When he opened his eyes, everything in his mind seemed to have turned into data. Even if he wanted his thinking to become faster, there would be an illusion, as if the flow of time around him had slowed down. But in fact, this was because his thinking was speeding up. At this level, he could even hide. This is the effect brought by the improved NZT-48. However, Lee Chinue didn't want to take it anymore after taking it. He always felt that it was not him who took the improved pills. Although Walter explained it many times, Lee Chinue still decided not to take it anymore. Later, Walter was too lazy to persuade him. "Okay, boss, if you don't like it, then don't eat it. But you can still store some here for emergencies." "Can." Lee Chinue did not refuse this and put it in the drawer. Then a luxury car stopped outside the door and a man got out. Beside him was a woman holding a black umbrella. They pushed the door open and entered, then looked around. Then the man came straight to the opposite side of Lee Chinue. When he sat down, the woman next to him took out a white towel and spread it on the chair. "My two guests, is there anything we can do for you? Can your firm really complete any commission?" the man asked arrogantly, dusting himself off gracefully. "Of course, sir, what kind of commission would you like to place?" "I want you to hunt down all the vampires in New York," the man said. "Well, my dear guest, this commission is a bit tricky, but it is not impossible to complete. I just don't know what kind of reward you can offer." $500 million. Guest, this seems a little insufficient. I can see that you are also a vampire. Before Lee Chinue could finish his words, the man interrupted him. "We are not vampires, we are blood race. Don't lump us in with those beasts. $10 billion to kill all the vampires in New York. Okay, we accept this commission. Do you know the process?" Lee Chinue asked. What process? Li Qingyue smiled and said nothing, but gestured to the man to sign. However, the man picked up the quill and signed his name smoothly, Would Dracula. When he saw the surname, Li Qingyue was slightly stunned, but he didn't say anything until the man's thumb was pierced and a drop of sticky bright red blood appeared on his thumb. The man was surprised. Customer, press it down quickly, otherwise when the blood is gone, more blood will come out. The man looked at Li Qingyue deeply, then pressed his thumb down. As his name glowed, the man stood up and left. Li Qingyue contacted Old Jack and asked for 10,000 silver-plated bullets. At the same time, he called Walter and prepared to start slaughtering vampires.